Hello everyone, welcome back to Sigma India. Here we are today discussing about one of the most interesting topics that we've got to offer. So we are going to be looking at how L mount is going to be your go-to choice for 2025. So stay tuned, let's get buckled up. Alright, so for those of y'all who are wondering what the L mount is all about, the L mount basically consists of three major brands, that is Sigma, Leica and Panasonic. There are a few others, but these three literally bring the global market to everyone's palette and to taste every photographer and videographer's needs. So we are looking at the future of photography and videography lenses, like the pinnacle, the best of the best, being catered to every single customer that's out there. So let's dive a tad bit deeper into this and understand what each of these brands are offering on the table and how they work hand in hand and why the L mount should be your go-to option for 2025. Alright, so why L mount? So the L mount literally stands for undeniable versatility, the extreme focus for performance, and most importantly, you know what native glass stands for. For any other brand that is looking into a lens ecosystem, they invest. For example, you talk about Sony, you talk about Canon, they have their E, RF and whatnot. But again, everyone comes back to the part where Sigma is probably a third-party glass and the native glass doesn't literally match up to whatever it is. So what do we have to focus upon? So Sigma here, along with Leica and Lumix, is providing native glass for all these systems, and everything works in tandem and hand in hand, so the output for the professional is absolutely beautiful. You talk about the catering audience, you can look at the professionals, you talk about the travelers, everything is being totally addressed by the L mount Alliance. You have the contemporary line from Sigma for the travelers and the people who are just picking up a camera and going out to shoot. You talk about the art line from Sigma, which is literally for the outright professionals, paired with the S line of lenses from Lumix as well. So these guys literally work hand in hand to give the ultimate experience for the consumer. So looking at the L mount ecosystem, so you invest in any camera, for example, you go for a Sony or you go for a Canon, you are talking about native glass, and any other brand is always being treated as third-party glass. But in this case, you are looking at three brands that treat each other as native glass, and the ecosystem is simply brilliant. Sigma has its widest variety of lenses. You talk about art, sports and contemporary, where art is focused towards the ultimate professionals. Sports is literally for the high-speed shooting scenarios with the cameras that you possess. So you talk about the contemporary line of lenses. This is focused towards the beginners and the travelers who are looking for something lightweight and robust to handle the day-to-day affair of photographing whatever they're looking at. And this is something that is beautifully fulfilled by this line. So you do understand from this the versatility and the expanse at which you are looking at a perfect ecosystem to jump into. Whereas you refer to talk about video performance, you talk about the optical performance in photography, everything is being catered to with the L mount system. For example, you can also literally put an L to PL mount adapter and you can adapt every single cinema lens from Sigma to your Lumix because you can shoot an open gate 6K. And I don't think this is the kind of flexibility that no other mount is offering on the branch right now. The L mount is the perfect setup for the hybrid shooter that's out there, because you talk about lenses for photography that is optically brilliant, and you talk about the brilliant autofocus performance for videography, which is also being fulfilled. I mean, I don't think any other brand right now is giving the same ecosystem and native glass as well as an L to PL mount support to shoot open gate 6K, that too in RAW. I mean, this is the kind of setup and this is the kind of a flex that you might have in 2025 with the L mount Alliance. So you talk about lens choices with other brands, you talk about a lens ecosystem with native glass. Now, what kind of native glass would it be if you don't have a zoom at f1.8 with internal zooming? So here's the 28 to 45, which is a brilliant add to the lens lineup of Art series lenses from Sigma in the past year, along with this brilliant focal length that is 28 to 105 at f2.8. I mean, your longer shots are no longer long enough, and the thing is, low light situations in weddings, you talk about wildlife or any setup for that matter, these two lenses are going to be killing it all for you throughout your journey, especially with the L mount series of cameras. The best part is the native glass performance across three different brands, and I don't think this is the kind of flex that anyone else can literally put forward in any other mount. And most importantly, the cine grade quality that you can get out of the Sigma Cine line of lenses mounted on top of a Lumix that is going to be shooting in open gate 6K in 4:10 bit. Now, internal raw recording is something that has been later added to a lot of other brands, but the L Mount Alliance has had it for a very long time, and they boast it proudly, which is because the amount of optical performance that is being extracted from a single mount alliance. So you look at fast primes and whatnot with the Art series of lenses and the compact durable size with the contemporary lenses. So you look at the sports line of lenses from Sigma, especially the telephoto zooms, you're talking about 6600. I mean, what a versatile range. You can shoot street, travel, and wildlife with one single lens. I mean, it is a tank and it's built like a tank to carry around, and it's going to last you a lifetime. But it is something that you can trust with all your heart, and your pictures are going to come out great. Tagging along is going to be the 150 to 600, which is another great wildlife lens. So under the sports line, here's a superstar and the latest launch from Sigma that literally everyone was in awe about. I mean, you've seen primes, right? Telephoto primes. They're pretty huge and humongous. This is what Sigma has to offer. Take a look at this. It's this tiny. I mean, this is a 500 millimeter lens. This is 500 mm, and look, this is the 28 to 45. This is the 28 to 105, and this is 500 mm. So you can see literally how small this telephoto prime is, and I think this is going to be the pinnacle of engineering at which you are going to experience with the L Mount Alliance going forward in 2025. All right, so if all of these points aren't convincing enough, so let me tell you why it's going to be a future-proof investment for you to get into the L Mount Alliance for 2025. So you are looking at all these pieces of glass, and this is lovely equipment. But when you go to any other brand, they're going to call Sigma a third-party vendor, and they're going to call Sigma a third-party glass. Here's the best part. You can turn your third-party glass into first-party glass with the L Mount Alliance. Yes, and that's a service that Sigma has been offering for a very long period of time and not many are aware of. So, for example, let's say you possess these lenses in E-mount. You can have them converted to L mount, and they will be your first party lens ecosystem for you in L mount. And that's how you're going to be future proofing your investments for photography and videography or any kind of business that involves these lines of equipment with Sigma and the L Mount Alliance on the whole. All right, so what are you exactly waiting for? Take your videography and photography and every single skill you possess to the next level by investing and getting into the L mount for 2025. Trust me, if these points aren't convincing enough, the price point is going to be what will knock it right out of the park for you guys. Sigma lenses or anyone from the L Mount Alliance, except for Leica, they are going to be right at par on price for whatever you guys would love to invest in, be it weddings, be it any genre of photography or videography that you guys are into. Definitely the L Mount Alliance is going to be bang for buck, definitely going to be optically supreme, and the best part is firmware updates. You get the best out of your equipment for years and years so that your investment never ever feels like a bad investment. So what are you guys waiting for? Hoping to see you all join the bandwagon of L Mount Alliance in 2025. Ciao. See you guys in the next one.